My turn now, is it? My reckoning.
No.
Oh. Really?
You can leave here, but you won't outrun me. Your time is heading to its end.
No. It's not. You're wrong.
Nothing is forever. No regeneration. No life. Beware of the forces that mass against you and their master.
What do you mean? What do you mean, their master?
I restore you, Doctor. Reunify you. But for how long?
Hello and welcome to Who Watches Who, a Doctor Who podcast with me, Matthew.
Hello, I'm
and
Scott.
As always,
yes.
I forgot the. It's been so long since we recorded. I forgot the intro. And as always, I'm joined here by.
Yes, hello, I'm Scott.
So we're like, I think we've missed our first week ever for the uploading of the Doctor Who podcast, and it was completely because we angered God.
It was entirely your fault.
Yeah, we had a big storm and I had no power or internet for, a good couple days there. And I had no internet for over a week, but I had no power for a couple days, which was interesting. And also, as we're recording it now, all the villages around me are having power cuts, so we're highly expecting one. So if this podcast suddenly cuts to a sudden different day, smoothly, of course, we'll make sure you don't even notice. I'm expecting my power to cut out at any moment, essentially.
Oh yeah, this is our second big storm in like 2 weeks. It's insane.
See, my internet's so bad I have no idea what you just said. I heard insane.
I said it's our second big storm in 2 weeks. It's insane.
Yeah. We've definitely angered the climate.
Yeah.
But oh well. So we missed one episode of Doctor Who Flux in the review, and we're going to be talking about it briefly here. Although I think of all the episodes we could have missed, this was the best one to miss because nothing happened.
Dude, Survivors of the Flux is just filler. You could have just missed the entire episode and you'd just be confused about how the people got to their places. That's all you'd miss out on. Nothing in that episode really matters.
But the Doctor's mum, Scott.
Not even the Doctor remembers
what
she had a mum who died.
Remember the kind of hinting towards it with Capaldi when he visited Gallifrey and that old lady was so nice and kind? Nah, that wasn't her. It's this old lady you've never seen. Oh, did you not cry? That was so emotional.
I don't think the Doctor even cried. She was like, oh no, and then she just moved on for life.
And the Doctor's mum was called like Morpheus or something.
like the death. Like just meeting the Doctor's mum is a big event in and of itself. It's just like we both find out that she was abused her entire life, the Doctor, and also that she was essentially stolen from her real parents, and it doesn't really add anything to the plot. The Doctor doesn't really feel anything about it.
It was really bad, you're right. But let's talk about everything that happened in Survivors of the Flux before we move into the finale. So the Doctor was turned into an angel the last time that we visited her on the podcast. And that we were like, that's really cool. And they did a grand total of nothing.
Yeah, they just undo it from like 2 minutes of the first opening scene. It's just... Yeah.
If anything, it's a callback to classic Who cliffhangers.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Because it's the same at the end of this episode, where it ends with Swarm about to touch and kill the Doctor, and then the next episode begins with her just ducking under him.
Yeah, that's something what that classic Who did a lot. Just set up something that seems impossible for the Doctor to get out of, Bennett immediately
Within
answered the
5
next
seconds.
episode.
Yeah. The Doctor awoke in that weird place where she met who we assumed to be God, and in a sense, kind of is God to the Doctor, you know?
Kind of, yeah. She kind of like gave birth to an entire society, that woman.
Yeah. But also there's an Ood there because we all like David Tennant era Doctor Who. Which is the only reason I could understand why did she need to have the Ood with her? What was that Ood doing?
Just a slave, you know. It's an indicator that she's bad. In case you didn't tell already, it needs to be extra obvious.
Yeah, but she gave us some interesting exposition about the division, at least, and I say interesting in the broadest sense. She gave exposition. Where it turned out that the division were formed on Gallifrey to ensure the safety of everybody in the galaxy, and they needed operatives to reach across, and eventually their reach became infinite and unlimited, even though you never see them and they never do anything, and they've only showed up this one time, and also there's only her and the Ood.
This is like series 39, and we only heard of them last series. We just never met them before, so obviously they're huge and just influential across the galaxy.
But the ship that they're on isn't in the Doctor Who universe that we know it, or in any other universe. It's currently in between the universes, which is an idea that Chibnall stole from me. I can't really say where he stole it from, but Scott knows. That's one of my ideas. From something I was working on. It's an idea I had. God damn it.
Well, now if you've released that book, everybody will know how it ends. So you just spoiled it.
Well, it doesn't end like that. There's a scene that takes place between places.
Well, it's near the end.
I was like, this is a cool idea that I've not seen done before. God damn it.
But yeah, of course it has to involve the multiverse, folks. The multiverse is just a big concept in general at the moment. At the
moment, it's very much in the zeitgeist, yeah.
Yeah, in case Doctor Who couldn't steal from the MCU anymore.
I got my Spider-Man tickets booked today.
Nice. I'm still waiting.
Oh, it's one of the busiest cinema screens I've ever had in recent memory. There are like no good seats left at my screening.
Well, I just watched The Amazing Spider-Man 2 today.
Why?
Because I wanted to rewatch all the movies, of course. I don't know why. It's bad.
And you started with the best one. Why
no,
not save that for last?
I've been watching all the others as well.
Building up to the best one.
Yes, yes.
So the mum gave a lecture, and you seem to have quoted it verbatim here.
Did I?
Grr, you left a vision and inspired people. Now I have to destroy universe because you're messing with our plans, stinky lady. Which I think is exactly how Chibnall wrote it. If I'm remembering, it's been like a week since I watched the episode, so I'm not quite certain, but that does sound like Chibnall dialogue to me.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate, isn't it?
I'm almost. I need to go back and rewatch it. I am almost certain Belle said "ooh wee" in this most recent episode. I'm almost certain she went "ooh wee."
I rewatched it today and I heard it as well.
So yeah, the mother of the Doctor, who is God, is the lady that we saw last season in the flashback that discovered the child version of the Doctor the timeless child version of the Doctor, as she's like standing underneath a wormhole or something. And this, for some reason, really upsets the Doctor, which I found confusing. So the Doctor was like, oh, you stole my life away. That wormhole could have been, like, picking me up or dropping me off, or more people were coming out. You ruined my life. But, like, also, Doctor, you've saved the universe 18,000 billion times and have had countless connections with... You would really throw that away because, oh, my real parents. That seemed super, like, kind of out of character for me. I didn't believe the motivation.
Yeah, like, if the Doctor wasn't in the situation to be able to save the galaxy, like everything would be destroyed by like the Daleks and shit.
Yeah, like the universe would have ended so long ago. So the mother was trying to force structure into the next universe while leaving a wrecked one behind. I also didn't understand this. Did she have no power in which universe she was going to? Because if I was her, I would just go to the alternate universe where the Cybermen were in David Tennant. Because that universe was basically like regular universe already.
Maybe it's just like a straight line, just one universe ends and you can directly go through a bubble into the next one.
But are they like stacked? Are they like placed in or like why if they managed to jump from that Cyberman universe into our universe, why not just pop over there?
Maybe it's like bubble wrap. Just each bubble contains a different universe.
Yeah, maybe, but like, do you not get to choose which one you want to go to? Do you have to go to this one that is got no structure or anything to it? Why not go to a pre-established one that we've already visited? Yeah, so we find out that the Flux, still whatever the Flux is, that's a question. What is the Flux, Scott?
Just angry cloud man.
Big angry cloud. It is. It's just a big angry cloud that literally does nothing.
It's just basically antimatter, and that's the only explanation we've really gotten.
Yeah, so it's like this thing that's eating the universe, and for some reason it decides that Earth is the center point. Literally, Earth is the center of the universe in this.
Well, in the second episode, we found out that basically they're able to control the trajectory of a cloud, because that's what we tried to do in the second episode. We tried to move it away from Earth.
I honestly have no memory of them doing that. But whatever. So it's heading towards Earth because that's when it'll go kaboom and be finished and exploded. But Earth's protected and they're going to stop the Flux. Ha ha ha. And it leaves the series in a position where half of our own solar system is destroyed canonically.
Yeah,
and also half of the universe.
Yeah, I would think it's more than half at this point because the Flux has been around for a long time. Like, I don't understand how many planets got destroyed, and at the end of the day, the Doctor's like, "Oh, I've saved the day. I'm happy now."
Yeah, I'm not even going to undo time and try to like timey-wimey my way to fix it. I'm just going to leave it at the current level of destruction.
Yeah.
Remember all those blue people we watched explode? Good.
Yeah, all dead. All the Daleks, Cybermen, and Sontarans are dead as well. Even if the Daleks are back next week or next month.
a couple weeks time. Yeah. The Doctor heard whispering floating house connected to her own fob watch. We saw that house a couple times, and it did a grand total of nothing. We see it a lot in the next episode as well, and it also does a grand total of nothing. Mum gave her a choice: defend the dying universe or rejoin the dark side and rule the universe, father and son. This episode sucked, didn't it? This was just a bad episode.
Again, nothing happened. Like, we find out the Doctor's mum, and they don't really do anything with it. We just forget it the next episode, and it'll probably be forgotten about throughout the entire show now. Like,
yeah, but then suddenly Swarm and Azure showed up out of literally nowhere, and the Doctor's mum was somehow helpless and was like, "Oh no!" and just died. They just killed her. Like she's like, oh, the leader of division. You know, she's been around running experiments. She knows who Swarm and Azure are. They've captured them before, but now, heck, he Thanos me. That's it. Game over.
So apparently the mum released them in the first place, which I don't understand why. It makes no sense. Because
it's she released it because it added for a compelling couple episodes.
I think it's just a mess of just unanswered questions. Just nothing adds up or makes sense, really.
Yeah, but speaking of pointless, Yaz and Dan were also doing things in this episode, weren't they? They had a whole escapade across many years, traveling the world.
Yeah, they just basically had an Indiana Jones plotline and just ended up doing nothing. Like, nothing came from that storyline apart from they found the old Victorian man.
And we also learned that Yaz is definitely a serial killer.
Yeah, she kills 2 assassins?
Yeah, and then knows immediately how to hide a body and how to get rid. And you know, she's a cop or whatever, and she probably has seen something like that. But I feel like she's killed people before, and she uses her guise as being a cop to get away with it.
Yeah, she's like Dexter.
Yeah. And they did nothing. There's almost nothing to talk about with them in this episode. They're just kind of traveling around on a boat
Yeah, we
Like-
basically have an artifact, and they're trying to travel around and find out what date the artifact says. We all know it's going to be 5th of December 2021, so there's no point in doing this storyline. And then we go to Nepal and meet this legendary seer, and he basically tells them, "Oh, go fetch your dog." So we go travel to China and write a message for him. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then he sees the message in the future and goes, "Oh, but I can't time travel, so what's the point in this?"
Like that message was there for like 120 years.
Yeah,
Nope.
nobody's touched it. All the times the Doctors traveled through time and seen things, they never once questioned that around the Great Wall of China.
And again, it just adds nothing to the episode.
Yeah, but there was an even more pointless storyline in this episode, Scott. Believe it or not, something less impactful happened, and that was with the Grand Serpent. Remember him? He had a whole scene in one episode before this.
And it kind of annoys me because the Grand Serpent is a great character on his own if he was like a main focus of a storyline, but adding him this late into the story and reducing the Swarm storyline just doesn't work.
Yeah, and also like the stuff that he did is interesting enough in that it explains why UNIT isn't in Doctor Who as much anymore, because it really goes into the lore of he technically founded it, and then they were doing all this stuff, and funding gets taken away, and they're closing UNIT down now because he's being an evilly man. I was mainly confused at how he ended up in Earth at the 50s.
Yeah. I think he just basically has a time travel device and just uses that.
Yeah, because they were like he was like jumping through periods of time, but they never really explained how he was doing it. He just kind of was. But yeah, they go into explaining UNIT and where it's been, and we see Kate. Kate comes back, and she was fine. It was nice to see her, I guess.
It was, even though she had nothing to do this episode and nothing to do the next episode. I did get a bit fan servicey hype out of just hearing Alistair Stewart being heard, the Brigadier. Like, we used a voice clip from him in the 60s, even though he wasn't in UNIT in the 60s, but still, whatever. It's a big continuity mistake.
But UNIT has an issue with its continuity history anyway, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
It just plays into it more. If anything, you could argue UNIT's a secret covert operation. Them being unsure when it was officially founded is maybe a good thing. If you want to look at it from that perspective.
But yeah, basically we just find out the Serpent's doing this to UNIT because he wants to welcome in the Sontarans. And
it's a really convoluted way of getting the Sontarans to Earth, isn't it?
And the Sontarans have already invaded Earth without UNIT. It doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah,
UNIT...
but Scott, right?
Yes.
He made people's faces go with a giant snake.
I did like that imagery. It was pretty creepy for Doctor Who, but
Bad CGI though. Oh boy,
I really digged it or dug it.
Really? Oh, I thought it was terrible. It's not the worst. There was some bad CGI in the finale, some really hideous stuff, but it was like definitely maybe a 2-part. Like, if this was a regular series of Doctor Who, I could see him having a 2-part episode as a villain.
Yeah.
Like he's got about that much levity to him. Whereas in this, he's got like a scene, like a 10, 15, not even a 10-minute scene in total. Like and then you're just like, oh, he's done with, who cares? Like,
yeah. And we find out he's working with somebody else, and it's just so underwhelming. Like, again,
it does. We know how it's had episodes cut. This was supposed to be a longer series, and then they decided they were doing, like, it was going to be a full series, wasn't it? And then they were like, oh, we're doing 8. Oh, we're doing 6. Oh, it's going to be a linear story. A lot of these other plot lines feel like there would have been standalone episodes or 2-part episodes that they've like taken some of the better parts from and crammed into this without it super fitting,
Mm-hmm. But again, like, episode 5 is just too late to be adding in new storylines. This is like your third act of your film, and I was
honestly expecting them to add new storylines in episode 6.
Yeah. It's just too much, and all this screen time of like Yaz, Dan, and Jericho, and the Grand Serpent could have been used to develop the relationship between the Doctor and her mum. Like, that could have been interesting, but instead, we just waste so much time on this pointless filler.
Yeah, but speaking of pointless filler, Belle and Carvanista were also in this episode for some reason. They did nothing.
Yeah, pretty
They've
much.
got 3 bullet points. Doggy's upset that the shield is breached. Oh yeah, so the shield around Earth, or it's not a. Where is the shield? Because is the shield around Earth? Because I remember in like episode 2, they say that everything went black for about like 2 minutes or something, and then the stars came back, which means the shield must have left. But there's still a shield around, and then in the finale when we see the shield, it's kind of just in space. So did they like move away from Earth and create like a barrier around the solar system or something?
Yeah, another one of those plot lines that just kind of loses itself halfway through. But like Chibnall wasn't sure whether or not he wanted it to be broken up or whatever. It doesn't make any sense.
I think one of the biggest issues with this series is nothing happening feels like it matters. Like you don't get any sense of impact.
Yeah.
You know, you can say like, oh my god, 15,000 planets have been destroyed. This guy's so evil. I didn't see them happen. We had no connection to those planets, you know?
Like even when Earth gets invaded, we don't see any humans walking around or stuff.
Yeah. And also it's kind of vague where things are, like with this whole shield thing. Where is the shield? What is it the shield doing? We never cut back to the shield at any point to show like, oh, they're still fighting off the flux, because we don't really know what the flux is, because it's boring. It's a giant cloud. Like this is this thing going on and nobody cares about it.
Yeah, and again, we still don't know how many universes exploded with the flux, like, or planets.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Speaking of things that don't matter, Vinder was up to no good in this episode. Yeah, and so Vinder I thought was kind of pointless. I know I've said that a lot, but in this episode where he's like sneaking around a place and then Swarm and that approach him and they're like, "Do you think that we didn't know you were there?" And he was like, "Oh, well, I knew that you knew, but I was just, fetching my bets, basically." And then they went, "Well, here's the big man to eat you up, yum, yum, yum." And he goes, "Oh no," and then gets eaten up. He did literally nothing.
Yeah, his only purpose is to go inside Passenger, and I guess Chibnall was like, okay, I need him to get inside Passenger. How am I going to do that? Oh, just have him show up and then be found. There we go. That's my storyline done for today. Good old Chibnall.
Yeah, but inside Passenger, there's nobody except for the one-armed lady who they decided to keep inside Passenger for, and we find this out next episode, literally no reason.
Yeah, like
they're like he's like, how are you still here? And she goes, "Well, they just think I'm pointless." Okay, but what about literally everybody else? They had a purpose and they got rid of them? Like, why not also get rid of you? Is that so much of a hassle?
Yeah, like Diana is pointless, but they spent so much time in episode 1 standing around the haunted house being like, "Oh, come over here, Diana, we'll eat you."
Yeah, why did they want her? Why did they go to Earth specifically to take her?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand it's because I guess Dan is with the Doctor and the Doctor is like the mortal enemy, but it's not really explained that well.
But like, why? It didn't even really give any motivation to Dan.
I think Dan just kept on forgetting about her, to be honest. Like there's no scenes of Dan in 1904 being like taking out a small little photograph of her, just mourning her.
Yeah, I so miss this lady whose name I don't remember. Diane. I so miss her. No, he's like, doesn't think about her till the last episode. Then when she comes back, he's like, "Oh yeah, how you doing?" But that was basically everything that happened in that really pointless episode. I think
everything that happened being nothing.
Yeah, literally nothing happened. And, we're about to go talk about the finale, which is really, the crux of this episode. We're just really running through the last one to get to this finale, much like Chibnall was when he was writing it.
Yeah.
So, Scott, The Vanquishers, the finale to The Flux, a pretty satisfying and complete story, I think.
Oh, yes, I felt every plotline just concluded perfectly. I didn't have any questions. I will say I had fun with it. I wasn't bored or angered
I was pretty
by
bored.
it.
I was honestly pretty bored by it. There was like a couple scenes that pulled me in, but then like for most of it, I found myself just zoning out and being like, wait, what?
I zoned out at one point and missed an important detail, but I'll get to that later. But I found it like too fast paced to be bored, which is, I guess, good. But
Yeah, so the episode like has a really long cold open. Like it's like 5-10 minutes before we see the intro credits.
I think it's like 4 minutes and a half.
Yeah, it feels longer. Where the Doctor like ducks underneath Swarm, as we said, because Swarm was about a Thanoser, and then like I can't remember what happened. They pull out the watch or something.
Yeah.
And did they stick something on the Doctor's head? I remember them like doing something to the Doctor's head, and that's why she split into three. Why did she split into three?
To be honest, I can't remember now.
I think they did something to her to like take her somewhere or show her something. To show her the haunted house. When they clicked on her head to show her the haunted house. That split her across time as well. For some reason. I don't know. I honestly don't. I watched this episode yesterday and I do not know.
Yeah, there's way too much happening in this episode. Nothing adds to the plot. It's just stuff. It's nothing.
Yeah, you've written companions stumble into Kate. She does nothing. Doc with doggy and lady and companions and ship at the same time. Yeah, so the Doctor kind of... Chibnall was like, I've got so many plots and the only person that can fix it's the Doctor. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll put the Doctor in all of the plots. Done. Because the Doctor just shows up to fix all of the three stories that are going on.
I will say that having Jodie Whittaker be throughout every scene, basically, was like the most entertaining part because she is phenomenal in this episode. I really enjoyed her performance.
She was really good.
She's carrying this episode on her back and she's doing a great job of it.
Yeah, she was probably the most fun her Doctor's been in a while. She was a lot of fun.
Completely forgets about her mum dying, by the way. Just she doesn't seem fazed by it.
Meh. But she also wasn't fazed by Gallifrey getting destroyed.
True.
You know, they had to make a whole movie about the Doctor's grief about Gallifrey getting destroyed, and she's like, whatever. We see that the Sontarans are putting out a message being like, hey, Daleks and Cybermen, you guys are kind of cool and cute. Would you want to hang out with me sometime? And then they're like, and everybody else could go away. Which was fun. I have to say, the design of the Sontarans really grew on me in this episode.
Yeah,
I liked it before, but I thought it looked kind of weird in movement. But this episode, I was sold completely. I thought it looked really good.
Yeah, I love them. They look really solid.
I just remember this is the episode where the Sontaran ate chocolate. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's... When Chibnall says he was going to have some humor with Sontarans, this is exactly the kind of humor I was worried about. It's just...
Wasn't it the Commander Sontaran from the 1900s as well? Or the 1800s? Whenever that battle was. I'm pretty sure it was that Commander dude. And then because he was commanding everybody, and then he just went, chocolate. And it like was totally out of character.
I will be using that as a gif, but I can't remember if it was him or not.
I'm almost certain it was him. That makes it even wilder.
But like, do you know why they decided to invade like every corner store? That part didn't make sense to me.
For the chocolates. I thought that was pretty evident when he went, chocolate. The Doctor flies Carvanista's ship onto a Sontaran ship. It has a force field.
Yeah, which is kind of weird because in the last episode we didn't have a force field. Like, we were able to blow it up from the inside, but now...
They just had it off.
We just had it off.
They just had the force field off that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Victorian man, we spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah.
What was the purpose of his story?
He just found these doors and they help. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Did they help?
They help.
What did they use those doors for?
They help figure it out. Actually, it doesn't help figure out the dates. Kind of does. The date of when the flux happens, kind of.
Why
Right?
does that matter, though? Why does it matter when the flux... They know the date the flux happens. It's the first episode. It's Halloween Day.
No, and the last moments of the flux, which is December 5th, 2021.
Right, yeah.
And that's the door. I was like, wait, what?
So... what was the point in him?
There is no point, but just the idea of like a Victorian man finding these doorways, seeing the Earth from the future is kind of a good idea if it was like one episode.
He was completely chill with it.
He was,
you know?
he was kind of an angry man as well, though.
Yeah, but he was, just kind of like, I'm just exploring now. I'm going to mark down what each door is and just keep going. And he was pointless completely, to the point where the Doctor went, okay, you can just kind of go away.
Now, do you remember episode 1? They made a big deal about him, what we're doing in the tunnels. Like, I wonder if we go back to that, it makes complete sense now, or if it just doesn't add up.
It won't. It won't make sense, because this is a series that was written episode to episode without looking back at what he set up.
Yeah, I believe that. It's very much like George Lucas with the prequels, just refusing to watch the original trilogy.
I completely disagree with you. So I will not have prequel slander on my podcast.
On your podcast.
Yeah. Those are excellent films. Sontarans invade the empty streets of Liverpool. Kate said the Sontarans are invading corner shops. Sontarans like Chalky, as we said. He goes, oh, chocolate. And it was terrible. It was really not funny.
But yeah, as we discussed, as for invading the streets of Liverpool, there's not a single person because of COVID, obviously, but we could have CGI'd at least a couple of people in.
Yeah, but, right, considering the budget of this and the timescale they're on, I bet they were super thankful they can get these massive exterior shots and they only need, at most, 10 people.
Yeah.
Like...
I did like one of the Sontarans are kind of standing next to the statues of the Beatles and we're kind of inspecting them. I kind of liked that moment, but it doesn't really... It's not on screen for long.
Yeah. The Doctor picks up Claire from the 60s, which really confused me for a moment. When the Doctor ran into Claire in the 60s, I was like, wait, you're doing a time loop thing? It was a time loop? Oh, like, I immediately flashed back to the first episode where we thought it was the time loop they're doing with Claire. And I was like, wait, so he is doing a time loop? And it hurt me for a few moments before they're just like, no, Claire, we need your psychic abilities, which, did she ever... I don't remember her being in any more of the episode.
Yeah, she's in the later parts of the episode. She's on a chair and she's getting mind probed by the Sontarans because they want to know when the flux will destroy everything.
I must have not been watching when that happened.
And then we find out from her that they could use the flux and put it inside Passenger as well, which is another stupid moment.
That's a very get out of jail free film, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. The Doctor and Carvanista all ended up in prison. Carvanista couldn't talk about the past with the Doctor because he had a poisoned brain. And I remember that the line that he had was really awkward because it was like, oh, I can't tell you about it, Doc. I've got this like poison thing in my brain. If I tell you the truth, the poison will go off in my brain. And he repeated it twice.
Yeah.
It was really weirdly written.
Also, I feel like he told her enough that the poison would probably go off, right?
That's what I was like, but you can talk about it being in your brain? Like,
yeah, it's also, why is it there? Just so he doesn't tell.
Why not? Why not, right? If I'm him, write down everything that happened with the Doctor.
Right, but that's probably releasing the poison as well before he could finish writing. I don't know.
But it's specifically about talking to the Doctor, isn't it?
But we also find out during this the entire time he could have just gone up to the Doctor throughout the last, 400 years, whatever, how old the Doctor is, like 2000 at this point. He could have just went
over
up to
2000, yeah.
Yeah, he could have just went up to the Doctor and been like, okay, I have a poison in my brain, you have a secret past. I mean, that's all he needed to tell her.
Yeah. Or write it down, or draw pictures.
Draw pictures.
Yeah. Because surely because he remembers what happened. Mm-hmm. He's just not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, why didn't?
He can think about it. So if he writes it down, he's not talking. So surely it's triggered by the voice part of his brain.
Wouldn't it have made more sense to either kill him or remove his memories?
Poison. Poison brain. He's got poison in his brain, Scott.
But yeah, we don't really get any resolution between that storyline. The Doctor doesn't really do anything with poison. Yeah,
She just goes, okay, you got poison in your brain, bye.
like, I half expected her to be like, okay, I'm going to use my sonic screwdriver to release whatever's in your brain so you don't get poisoned. She could have done something, like...
Yeah. Azure said that they wanted to... They want the end of all spatial objects, and they want control over the flux. And they want to watch the universe die on a constant loop. It was the most generically vague villain motivation, where again they're like, "Oh, we want to control the flux. What is the flux? Why do you want to control it? Please tell me." It just looks like a giant cloud that goes nom 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 to different planets. Like, and why do you want to watch the universe on a loop? Like, what?
Yeah.
What is your motivation?
Yeah, I know. 6 episodes in, we still don't know their motivation. We're dead. We still don't know their motivation.
But Scott, they're the Doctor's oldest enemy.
Oh, and that's just so disappointing because them being the Doctor's oldest enemy was something interesting at least, but then Chibnall just forgot about them.
Much like the Doctor forgot about them when the Division wiped her brain. You see, it all connects, Scott.
Nothing in this season really matters, does it? Everything's just
No.
going to be back to normal next season.
And I am honestly thankful for it. The way that this played out. We then find out that all of the Lupar, which are the dog people, got genocided by the Sontarans. And do the Lupar come back?
No, we're all
or are
dead.
they're just straight up genocided?
Yeah, we're all dead. Off screen as well. Like we could have seen an explosion or something. You know?
Yeah, they're just off screen. And Carvanista survives.
Yeah.
He's upset about them being dead for like a scene.
Yeah.
And then the next time we see him, I think he's pretty much over it.
Yeah. There's a scene in the TARDIS where I think it was Belle who asks Dan, "Why is he so sad?" And then Dan is like, "Oh, the Sontarans destroyed every one of his family." And then the music suddenly changes, and then we're back into the quick pace, and we forget about it for the entire episode. It just moves on really quickly.
Yeah, very strange. Then the another version of the Doctor. Remember, there's 3 Doctors running around right now. If it seems like the Doctor's doing a lot, it's because she's doing literally everything. She ends up getting interrogated by a Serpent Man, isn't it?
Yes.
In this scene, and Belle's there, and Belle goes, "Ooh wee," which was so. I remember I was messaging you as I was watching it. I went, "Did Belle just say ooh wee?" Vinder and Diana are in Passenger, and she tells them landscapes are. Oh yeah, so we're back with Vinder and Diana briefly for very no reason, and they're like, "Oh, the landscape that's inside Passenger is infinite." But anyway, this is the end of it. This is the definitive end of the infinity here.
No.
I was like,
No, basically every landscape has an edge, and they walk through that edge, and it opens up a new landscape.
New landscape, but all the landscapes are infinite. But they have edges.
It's not that all the landscapes are infinite. It's just everything is infinite. I don't know.
But it's not infinite. It has an edge. It's like a holodeck situation. You know, really, they're in a small square that just looks bigger when you change the environment.
And then they go through another landscape, and suddenly Passenger keeps popping up, and then it turns into a game of whack-a-mole, and just and Diana just kills every one of them, and Vinder is like, "Oh, you should go to the academy and be a teacher."
Yeah, and it's so. It was, oh my god. The Doc gets interrogated on the location of Kate in a very Star Warsy scene.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Is this where she's making fun of the Serpent?
Yeah, she's just on a chair, and it just feels like a Star Wars scene where she's being interrogated. And it feels like the Grand Serpent is like a Star Wars character, basically, like a Peter Cushing type.
Yeah. Or, like Kylo Ren and Rey in Force Awakens sort of deal, where it's like, "Oh, well, I'm going to make a funny Marvel-y quip, but not be as good. Ha ha ha, you're called a serpent. I bet your mum was like, 'Oh boy, hello, Snaky.' You know, like it was
Yeah.
fine, but the real gem of the scene came when the Doctor came to save herself from the Serpent.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
But while being interrogated, the Doctor's like, "Oh, I bet you did lots of genocide. You're probably a big bad guy." And then the episode ends with the Doctor doing genocide against like
Yeah,
three
but,
species.
But Scott, those are the bad guys.
The entire point of Genesis of the Daleks is you can't kill the bad guys because you turn into the bad guy at the end.
But yeah, Scott, that's true. But right, that was a Cyberman and a Dalek and a Sontaran. You know, what are you supposed to do? Talk your way out of it? What is this, Doctor Who?
Yeah, and this is like the second time this year the Doctor has done a mass genocide against the Daleks.
You can genocide the Daleks as many times as you want. They're going to come back. And for example, the next episode is the Dalek one. After they've been genocided. How many times has the Doctor genocided the Daleks? Because they do it in the Day of the Doctor as well.
God, it's a lot. Two times this year at least.
Yeah, with very similar methods.
Yeah, just putting it all inside another person.
Yeah.
Aye.
The Doctor came to save the Doctor and becomes very, very attracted to themselves in probably my favorite scene of the episode.
100%. This is the point of the episode where I texted you and I was like, I love Jodie Whittaker in this episode, and she is just a big blast.
It's one of her best scenes, I think, honestly. The two Doctors communicate to Doctor... Jesus Christ. Telling her to give info on what the Flux is. Antimatter from outside universe channeled in.
That's
That's
Flux.
what it is.
Yes.
That's the Flux.
That's what the Doctor tells
Who,
us.
It's such a big and interesting foe that it got the show's called Doctor Who Flux for this series.
Yeah, the only time the title has ever changed in the Doctor Who history, and it's a big antimatter cloud that was sent by her mum because
but Scott's going to eat the universe. The whole universe. Not just like a planet. All of them. Isn't that more scary?
Well, I mean, it isn't scary because the Doctor is just like, oh, half the universe got eaten at the end. Oh, well, let's just move on with our lives.
Yeah.
Happy times.
The TARDIS locks onto Vinder and Diane somehow. Aren't they inside? Oh, yeah, because they get outside Swarm for a brief moment and they're like, hey, we're in the studio area that they shot this there's nothing around us, come get us, Doc. And then they get eaten by the oh my god, transport man. I just said his name.
Passenger
Again. Why I know we've asked before, why would you keep Vinder and her alive? Like even if you're like, oh, they don't matter, we'll just keep them inside Passenger, whatever. Then they get outside Passenger. It's easier to just go, okay, whatever, bang bang.
Yeah, it's
just stop that fire out before it grows.
I'm kind of lost for words because nothing in this episode really adds to anything. Like, Diane and Vinder are useless characters in the first place. We don't really do much for the plot, do they?
But Vinder's it's gonna have a kid.
I feel so sorry for Jacob Anderson just doing nothing this season.
Yeah, I was into him those first couple episodes. I was like, I like him. He's got some cool stuff going on.
Yeah, I think it'd be much better if he was just made a companion and he was with the Doctor the entire time. That could have been more interesting, but, they had to split.
We will never see or hear of him again. The Grand Serpent really wants to find Kate for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't understand why he wanted to find Kate.
Because she knows he's an alien, I guess?
Yeah, but everyone knows he's an alien.
Even though he's got what he's wanted, she didn't really stop him achieving his goal.
And also the Earth is under, Sontaran control at this point, and Kate isn't doing anything in this episode. If you wanted to find anyone, it's the Doctor you want to find.
Didn't Kate say, she's leading the human resistance against the Sontarans or something?
And she's the only human in this episode that's been on Earth the entire season.
Yeah. But I think she said something like she's leading the resistance again. So that's Big Finish licking their lips.
Yeah.
Going like, more stuff we can do.
Like what's on Taran at the end of part 1 of the Time Warriors.
Yeah. They say goodbye to... so this is the scene where the Doctor with the Victorian guy goes, I honestly don't know why you're in the script. You can leave. And he goes, oh, yeah, sick. And leaves.
And they do this like heroic send off for him where he salutes the Doctor or whatever, and just like, he didn't do anything but find a couple of doors in the elevator. Well, no, a mine shaft.
He did literally. You could get rid of him from the series and just have Yaz and Dan end up in a mine shaft, and Dan go, "Oh, these are the Liverpool mines or whatever. Yeah. Oh, what's through this door? Whoa, it's taking us to a different time. Whoa, let's go back. Oh," and then they could figure it out.
Yeah.
Rather than having a pointless character be in and be like, "Oh, I did this for you. Bye."
I as much as I hate the subplot, it's just I enjoy just him running into some episodes, just being like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" I mean, just running off again.
But it didn't build to anything.
True.
It had no payoff.
It was entertaining, but I'll take entertaining over just bleh.
Diana is pissed at Dan for being late. He was kidnapped, bro. When did this happen? What's going on here?
Yeah, we're in the TARDIS, and it's after they reunite, and Diana's like, "You were late," and then Dan's like, "Oh, it was him. Blame it on him."
Yeah. Because again, I didn't understand why Diana was mad at Dan in this episode. Especially at the end of it, where she's like, "You know what, Dan? I don't even want to see you anymore." What?
It's
What?
not.
Why?
It's not that quite dramatic. I think she just has PTSD for being inside passenger for what I don't know.
Maybe, but it does remind me of last series, or maybe it was series 1. I don't remember. No, it was last series where Yaz was like, "You left me for 6 months, Doctor." And the Doctor's like, "I was on a prison." Like
that was at the beginning of a year as well.
Yeah, which kind of, I guess you could call it character development for Yaz, where they when she meets the Doctor again, and the Doctor's like, "Oh my God, how long has it been, Yaz?" And she's like, "A couple years," but she's not upset about it. She's like, "We survived." She's grown where she's like, "It's 6 months to it's been a few years since we've seen each other, Doctor." That's, I guess, character development for Yaz. She's no longer clingy.
Even though we kind of didn't see her do that much throughout the season, like last episode, her subplot was just filler, and she killed.
Yeah, but this series, Scott, she did literally nothing for most of it. She was in scenes, and she killed a man, and that's it.
she's done more than Dan, at least.
No, Dan took out that entire Sontaran fleet.
True. Oh, God.
Dr. Sonic's the passenger to get inside him, because I guess that's what the sonic screwdriver does now.
Yeah.
Diana's pissed at Dan being late. Sontarans want to get the Cybes and Daleks in so that they will die in the flux. Too much matter causes the antimatter. Okay, here's my question. Why do the Sontarans want the Cybermen and the Daleks to come visit them to die in the flux? Why?
It's because it's basically, as Kate says in her like only memorable line, she's like, "Too much matter causes the antimatter to cease to exist, so the flux would just like implode."
So they're trying to overfeed it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But obviously that plan doesn't work out in the end.
I'm so confused at how the flux works.
So am I.
So it's like, where did it start? So the universe we're imagining here is finite. It's not a galaxy, it's a universe. So that's hundreds of billions of different galaxies it's eating. Mm-hmm. So where's its starting point? It's number 2, what shape is the universe? Number 3, if it's getting stopped by the Earth, why doesn't it just go around the barrier and eat every other planet so it's just the Earth floating? Why did it stop still?
I think you'll find this is a Chibnall episode, and Chibnall doesn't take any answers or questions.
He doesn't. He's both.
Like, imagine if this episode is being screened at a worldwide event, And at the end, there's a huge Q&A session. And then Chibnall's like, hello, no questions tonight, bye-bye. And he just wanders off stage. That's him.
I would love for him to do that. I think that would be amazing if he did that. If he went to a screening of this finale for a Q&A at the end and then just went, okay, bye.
Because you know most Q&As are like, okay, what was your best part about being on set and whatever. This Q&A would be like, okay, what the fuck is the Flux?
Yeah. And then just Chris Chibnall being like, God, yeah, it's it destroys the universe.
Why would a man with a shirt saying "genius at work" be asking so many questions about a cartoon?
The Doctor has a plan to let the Sontarans kill all the Cybermen and the Daleks, and also destroy the Sun. So the Sontarans' plan is we're going to commit genocide on 2 people, and the Doctor goes, "Ahaha! Well, I'll commit genocide on all 3. Checkmate."
Yeah, the Doctor is just totally cool with killing people in this season.
Yeah, like imagine if it was any other Doctor. You think that they would find a way to make the Daleks and the Cybermen and the Sontarans actually work together, because they'd give a big speech being like, you can't rule the universe if you're dead, basically. If there's nothing left to rule, you're not going to rule anything. We need to team up briefly, and then you have the 2 foes working together, sort of dealio, to defeat the Flux. Wouldn't that be more interesting than the Doctor going, haha, you're dead?
100%.
Oh my god. I suppose you'd have to write some good dialogue for the Doctor for that to happen, though.
She's too busy being gay for herself.
Yeah. The Ood helps minimize the final Flux event. Good friend. How did the Ood do that?
So basically, I can't remember how the fuck it's explained, but the Doctor's like, oh, can you minimize the event? And the Ood is like, yeah, I'll go do that. And then he kind of does it, but he kind of doesn't.
Yeah, the Ood it was pointless, wasn't it? It was just there because it's like, haha, Ood.
Yes. This will be a cool shot for the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I actually need to write for the Ood. Oh, shit.
The Swarm will sacrifice Doctor to the personification of time. Oh, yeah, time's a person?
Kind of.
Not just a planet, it's also a person now, and that person reflects the person that it wants to talk to. So it comes in, it looks like Swarm. And the effect of it coming in and changing its appearance looked atrocious.
Yeah, at least the second effect of it being just the Doctor with an inside-out coat. just an inside-out coat.
I'm so confused as to why time is a person. What's their goal? Why are they a person?
Dude, it was established that time was kind of controlled by the Morai people.
Time was a planet.
Yeah,
the planet was called Time.
Yeah, and it was controlled by the Morai people, and all these people died, so no one's controlling time at this point, and everyone's just forgetting about that now.
And it's taken the shape of a person. Jericho drops a ring that teleports him. He dies to the Flux. What?
Yeah, he dies. Remember?
I know Jericho died. Yeah, I don't remember him dropping a ring.
Okay, so the ring is like a teleporter device, and he drops it, and it kind of blows up, and he can't travel back to the Doctor anymore.
Right. I liked Jericho. He was one of my favorite companions.
Yeah, he was great. I loved him very much, and he grew a beard in that 1 second between starting painting the Wall of China and finishing the Wall of China.
He did. Yeah, and apparently he was in Pirates of the Caribbean, but he looks nothing like how he used to look.
Oh.
Let me see. I might be thinking of the wrong person, but we'll see. Hang on. Basically, Captain Jack's pirate friend that drinks all the rum all the time.
Right.
That guy.
Okay, I haven't seen the movie, so I'm just saying right.
You've not seen the movies are pretty good, man.
I only saw the first one. I mean, I know it goes downhill from there, so I never bothered with the sequels. So
I quite like the second one, and the third one's okay.
Well, your opinion's wrong.
And I've not seen the fourth one. No, I have. The fourth one's there. I've not seen the fifth one. This dude.
I see. Yeah, he's very different looking.
Yeah, he plays for people listening. The pirate with the mutton chops that drinks the rum. He's like Captain Jack's first mate, basically. And he looks very different now. But to be fair, Pirates of the Caribbean's like 15 years old, so.
He was also in Classic Who in a Colin Baker or Sylvester McCoy episode.
Huh.
It's a really bad episode, so I don't remember it much. But yeah, he was in Classic Who.
I just saw the picture of Evil Dan on the document. Love Evil Dan. The best Doctor Who meme.
It
ever.
really is.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the best thing Chibnall has ever done, and it's nothing to do with him, is it?
It's so good. But Claire came up with the idea to stick the flux inside Passenger. The Doctor's happy even though most of the galaxy died. Which is very true. And Claire is very happy with her idea because it works flawlessly.
Yeah.
Like it just instantly works and everyone's like, "Oh, sick, nice, problem solved."
And it feels like something that could have been done in episode 1.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's like
If Swarm and Azure wanted to control the flux, why didn't they make Passenger eat it and then they could unleash it whenever they felt like?
Yeah, but if it eats flux, if it eats Passenger, it also dies. Passenger dies at
Right.
the end as well.
Right. Why did they have Passenger with them then?
To transport those people so they can stand around the glowy things, and the glowy things could turn them into space travel.
What?
In like episode 5, they have like
I
a
remember they said that they're like fuel or something.
yeah,
But
and
that seems
that's how
pointless.
that's how they got into the Doctor's mum's ship. Because they used those people to get on the ship somehow.
That's so dumb. That's
it really
so
is.
dumb. Oh my god.
And they were trying to do that for like 5 episodes to get on the Doctor's mum's ship.
Yeah.
You know, and the Doctor's mum released them in the first place for no reason. None of it makes sense.
Remember how we discovered the last time that they got beaten was by like getting caught in a giant net, essentially.
Yeah.
Like they just got a big box around them. They went, "Well, that's just we're done for." Swarm and Azure get killed by Time because they effed up. Time becomes Doc, but inside out jacket. Yeah, so why did Time kill Azure and Swarm? So they go and they visit and they're like, Time is the reason we've done this. Here they are. Here's Time. And then Time kills them.
Yeah, because I guess, what did Time want in the first place? I can't remember now. I should have written that down.
I don't remember what Time wanted. More time to figure out the plot?
Because I think Time wanted...
Dan.
Wait, let me... Because they wanted something and fucking Swarm and his sister fucked up when Time was like, okay, you didn't deliver what I wanted. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Let me just find a book. Oh, fucking hell. Okay, but since the flux failed to free Time, Time destroys them. So Time was a prisoner, I guess, and they wanted to release Time.
Where was Time a prisoner of? Time's a planet.
No, I mean, I think Atropos is the planet name, but it contains Time.
No, wasn't Atropos a city on the planet Time?
Fucking hell.
They said the planet was called Time. That was a major plot point. They're on Atropos on the planet Time.
Right. So, Azure and Swarm bring the Doctor to Atropos to sacrifice her to Time, but since the flux failed to free Time, Time destroys them.
That makes literally no sense. That just straight up doesn't make sense.
I guess Time is a prisoner on the planet Time.
Okay. But they have the power to kill Swarm and Azure, but they don't have the power to free themselves?
Yeah.
Even though they're no longer guarded by those ladies.
Wait, what was Time a prisoner in Doctor Who.
Time was a prisoner of the goddamn script.
Oh, I don't even fucking know. I'm just finding articles saying the Doctor may be greatly affected by her time in prison, even though obviously she wasn't in the end.
Played no point into any of her development. Whatever. The time then went on to tell the Doctor that, by the way, you've got 3 specials coming up, and then you're regenerating.
Yes, she replaced. Time is basically the old black lady on the bus being like, he will knock 4 times.
Yeah. It's a classic Doctor Who motif.
Not really.
I enjoy it. I really like. It's like the fun teasing, gets you build up the excitement.
It's only in like modern Who where the regeneration special is a big deal. Like in classic Who, it's just like, another episode, and he just happens to regenerate at the end.
I like it being a big deal myself. I like the fanfare and the lights, where it's like teasing out and the Doctor's all sad.
I think
gives a big speech.
I think every regeneration special, apart from the 9th Doctor regenerating, is pretty bad.
Yeah, but you're wrong about most things. But Time says, beware the forces that mass against you and their master.
Yeah, it's basically a master again. Just, he will knock 4 times.
It is literally, it's the master's going to make you regenerate again. Here's the sound of drums.
Yeah.
The Grand Serpent is still looking for Kate. That's right, there's still plot happening. You literally wrote brackets. Forgot that was still happening. And Vinder banished him, I guess.
Vinder banishes him to like the edge of space, and he kind of walks out into this like portal, and it's just space.
Awesome. Kate flirts with Doc a bit, where she's like, "Oh, I like this regeneration." Which also, by the way, when she says that, both Yaz and Dan are like, "Yeah, that makes sense to us." Have I know Dan hasn't. Has Yaz been told about regenerations before? I guess she kind of knows about the timeless child stuff.
The Master told them that he was a man once.
Yeah,
all that. But I don't. Dan doesn't know anything. But
Dan accepts most things. To be fair,
Dan has had 15 minutes of screen time with the Doctor so far.
And to be fair, Dan's personality is all right.
Yeah, his personality is, I'm a nice guy.
I'll deal with this. This is fine. Okay. Diana doesn't want to go back on a date with Dan because she's all upset. The Doctor decides to be like, "Hey Dan, you want to become a full-time companion for 4 episodes, or 3 episodes?" And Dan's
3
like,
episodes.
Dan's like, "Hell yeah, I do."
Yeah, I'm surprised he stuck on, to be honest.
I'm glad he did. I liked him.
Yeah.
I think he works well with Yaz more than Graham and
Ryan.
Bicycle Boy Ryan. more than they did. I feel like Yaz gets more time to show what little personality her character has. She's no because the big Graham took up all the screen time of the companions before.
Yeah.
Which made sense because he was the best one.
True. He really was.
Doc tells the TARDIS to hide clock.
Clock, yes. The watch, the stopwatch.
Oh yeah, so she opens up the Eye of Harmony, and drops the watch into it, and is like, hide this from me, so I don't have to think about it until a better writer comes along with an idea of what to do.
That's kind of like my favorite part of the episode, just her being like, okay, it doesn't matter my past, it's who I am now that counts, but it's not really communicated within the episode, it's just my interpretation of what the ending is.
Yeah, I can buy into that. I also like that we're not really changing Doctor Who's canon by establishing these other Doctors, although now it goes, what's her name? The Division Doctor. Mm-hmm. And then it goes Hartnell. That's as much as we know.
No. We watched the Child Doctor on the chair generating over and over and over again.
Yeah, and we also saw the yeah. But don't think about it. It's buried in the TARDIS. Don't worry about it.
But at this point, we know exactly the same as we did at the end of Series 12. Except now she just has a watch that contains her memories that she doesn't want to open yet. It's exactly the same information.
We also know about the Doctor's mum.
I don't think it matters. Like,
But what about Swarm? He was the Doctor's oldest enemy.
the Doctor's oldest enemy gets killed by time itself. Just
Yeah, which isn't a planet anymore.
like Swarm basically just fucked off halfway in the middle of the season. Like, and never did anything threatening.
I never did anything. Swarm, when I first saw Swarm, I was really into them. I was liking their performance. I was, the costume looks atrocious, but I could get past that because I thought the performance was strong, the writing was good. And then they just become like empty villain to go, whoa, woohoo, we're going to kill everything.
I had so much hope for a season. Like, you and me both were just so positive at the very start.
Yeah, and I think we were positive pretty much until these last 2 episodes, to be fair. But the episode basically ends with the Doctor dropping the thing into the TARDIS. We get the next time look, and, as much as we're crapping on the show at the moment, that New Year special looks like it's going to be fun. Yeah,
it's Groundhog Day with Daleks. That looks fun as hell. I'm all in for it.
Yeah, it's a good concept. But what did you think of Doctor Who Flux, Scott? I know we've got a big long special coming up where we look back at everything. Yeah. But your assessment, your fresh take after this first viewing, what did you think?
What did I think? Strong first 4 episodes, and then he just drops the ball completely. Like, nothing got resolved. It's so hard to think about what I think about the episode when Chibnall didn't put any thought into it. I don't understand how this happened. Like, at least, like, any kind of script writer would know how to basically make a decent conclusion to a storyline, whereas Chibnall is just like, oh, I kind of forgot to write the ending there. And it's happened time and time again. This is like the series 11 episode just ended with a big whimper. Season 12 just ended forgetting about the Cybermen and all that shite. Just, it's so hard to be positive at this point. I want to be optimistic and happy about Chibnall's writing. It's just so hard. You know what I mean?
No, I thought it was perfect. Yeah, I think 2 out of 6 episodes is probably a Chibnall best.
I would go a step above and be like 4 out of 6, but I know when I'm going to watch episode 3, where they keep on going and jumping through the time stream, that episode isn't going to hold up on a second viewing, is it?
The best episodes of the series were when they were focusing on one plot.
Yeah.
And they were taking their time.
Yeah, that's
2 and episode 5.
4, yeah.
5.
4.
4? Yeah,
yes.
2 and 4. Yeah, 2 and 4. Episodes 2 and 4. The best episodes of the series because they took their time to explore a fun concept.
Yeah.
The rest of the series is all over the place, and we were holding out hope that it would culminate in something, and what it culminates in is nothing. Nothing happens and feels like nothing has any consequence or stakes, and we were even confused by some major plot points.
Like, when the Doctor puts Flux inside the passenger, I kind of zoned out for a minute, and when we're on Earth, I'm like, wait, did they solve the Flux issue? And I had to rewind and be like, oh, they did solve the Flux issue, but they didn't at the same time. It still ate half the galaxy. Like,
not just it must have been half the universe.
Yeah. I'm just at a loss for words. I don't understand anything. I was so optimistic.
So what do you think's Jodie's best series?
I would say season 11.
That's her first one.
Yes.
Ucha. I think that's a bad series. My God, I don't know if we've had a Doctor with this many, like in total bad episodes.
Series 11 had some bad episodes, but I think some episodes were good. It's because they're so self-contained, and it's so hard to judge the season based on those episodes. Season 12 started introducing like serial elements with all the master storyline with Timeless Child, and that's where that season falls apart. And Flux being one big story that ends on a whimper kills it. So season 11 all being self-contained stories with some good episodes I could revisit without needing to watch any other episodes really helps that season, I think.
I tell you, I really hope that Jodie's next couple specials are good, just so that I have positive memories of her Doctor when she regenerates.
Yeah.
Because my God, like what a rough go of it she's had.
It's honestly just shocking. I know I kind of remained optimistic it would get better. Like I wanted the Timeless Child thing to be resolved in a proper way. But this season just doesn't do anything with Timeless Child. It just leaves off exactly the same way as it did in season 12. Just now the Doctor has her watch. Nothing's changed or there's been no character development. Chibnall doesn't care about characters.
Yeah. Or he just doesn't have ideas for them. You know, like maybe that's why he's leaving this soon into his tenure, because he's just like, I'm tapped out. You know,
Yeah.
He's been writing Doctor Who for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he's just done, and he's like, I've literally got no idea. The one idea he's had, which is the Timeless Child, which is an idea that he's reportedly had for literally years, like since Davis was in charge of the show. He pitched it, and he pitched it to Moffat. Both of them turned it down for good reasons, and you know, he's had this one idea, and he's not been able to pay it off.
Yeah.
Like, so,
I think when we get to the end of the Chibnall era, and we're looking at it like 10 years in the future, we'd be like, there's some good episodes here, but overall it's pretty mediocre shit. Like, I don't think it's terrible, but it's just mediocre and just lazy, I would say.
yeah, it really feels like the show's kind of just chugging along, waiting for Jodie to regenerate at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it literally just feels like they're like, okay, we've just got these contractually obliged 3 episodes to get through, and then the show can regenerate, you know? Then
Yeah.
the show can become good again. We've just got to get through these next couple episodes, which is a terrible place for the show to be in. But, hey-oh, I can't wait for Russell T. Davis to take charge again.
Oh god, yes. At least we know he'll have some sign of quality. He can resolve a plot
What if
line.
it's bad? What if it's bad, Scott? What if everybody's got all these hopes that he's going to come in and make it good, but what if he's worse?
We'll find out in, 2 years?
Yeah,
God.
a while away. But yeah, I don't
Yes.
really have anything else to say about this. This is such a disappointing series for me.
Yeah.
I was so into it for so long, and what a disappointment. My God.
And yeah, I can't think of anything positive to say other than I enjoyed the first 4 episodes. But on a rewatch, those first 4 episodes are just going to fall flat because it's all leading up to nothing. Literally
What I would
nothing.
like to happen is go back on those episodes and have moments of, oh, of course, that's what you were doing. But what I feel like is going to happen is it's going to be moments of, oh, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. What? Why is this happen? What? That didn't pay off.
One of the biggest things that didn't pay off was, why was his sister disguised as a human in episode 1? It's never explained.
So that they could get Diana, even though she's insignificant. Just so they could get her.
Yeah, but she was disguised as a human when...
Yeah. Oh yeah. In
Yeah.
the Antarctic or wherever they
Yeah.
were. Maybe it was to hide from Division.
That's my theory, but it's never explicitly stated in the show.
Yeah, I guess it was just that because he was in prison. Swarm was in prison, so I assume it was to hide from Division, even though
Yeah.
Division are everywhere and know everything, and also and didn't the mother say that she released them?
Yeah, she did. Which,
Makes no sense.
yeah, she
Because
released them.
we watched Swarm escape from prison.
Yeah. It's... There's so
What a-
much about... Yeah.
What a good series of Doctor Who this was.
Yeah. I'm at a loss for words. I'm just...
I can't wait to watch Voyage of the Damned again.
Yes, that's going to be our episode in, 2 weeks? That's going to be good.
Yeah, Christmas episode.
Yeah, that's our next episode.
Yeah, but I think that are we going to end it on that downer of a note? I think so.
Yes, we're sorry, we have nothing else to say. It's just Chibnall has nothing else to
Poopy
say.
series. Yeah. But thank you very much for listening to this podcast known as Who Watches Who, a Doctor Who podcast. We are available in podcast form everywhere you get your podcasts. You can find us on Facebook at Who Watches Who, on Twitter at Watches Doctor. You can find this video on YouTube as well. We have it everywhere. It's been a while since I've done this. Can you tell? You can follow me on Twitter at Cloth223. Next week we have got nothing, and then the week after that is Voyage of the Damned.
Voyage of the Damned is on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve.
Yes.
So listen
Christmas
to us
Eve
while
episode.
So listen to us while you're
at your
eating
family
Christmas
dinner.
dinner alone.
Yeah. Or Christmas dinner with your family. Have us on in the background because it's it's a listening for the whole family celebration sort of deal. But yeah, we've got Voyage of the Damned coming up, which should be a nice wee silly episode. It's a campy Christmas special, and I'm looking forward to covering it. Have you got anything else to add on to that, Scott?
If you want to send us an email, you can email us at whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com. Did you like the season? Tell us why, because we're interested to find somebody who likes the season.
Is time a planet or a person? What was time in prison for?
It's both a person and a planet.
Why? If you're Chris Chibnall, please email us with these answers.
I don't think Chris Chibnall even knows.
Do you think? I think Chris Chibnall listens to this podcast hoping that we could come up with an answer.
You know what this season of Doctor Who reminds me of? It's a kid who just did for homework last minute and just didn't have time to reread it over. It stinks of first draft.
Yeah, it is. It's very much. Here's an idea I've got. You know, there's this thing called the Flux. What's it do? It destroys the universe. Okay, well, how does it do that? Well, it's like a giant cloud. Well, who set it off? The Division. Well, who are they? They're the people the Doctor was with before. They don't remember them. Oh, who's in charge? Oh, the Doctor's mum.
Yeah, and then before he starts writing episode 6, his secretary comes in and reminds him, okay, now, Chibnall, you do remember this isn't a 10-episode season, right? And Chibnall's like, oh, fuck. My deadline is just next week. Fuck.
Yeah, and then do you know what he did? He got all 10 scripts.
Uh-huh.
He got a pair of scissors, and then he just randomly started cutting. He was like, he didn't read it, just cut randomly, glued it together, boom, done.
Sounds about right. But yes, that is us until Christmas Eve.
I'll see you on Christmas Eve. Whoa.
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. But thank you. I'm surprised my electricity hasn't cut out. Hell yeah.
As am
I. Until then, live long and prosper, as the Doctor would say.
Be good, because Santa, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah. Exactly that. Farewell. Bye-bye.